This is Cheyenne Valentine back today again with a new episode. Today's episode, I want to talk about Kevin Hart and him stepping down from hosting the Oscars. And he decided to step down from hosting the Oscars because of homophobic tweets that he made several years ago that he claimed he apologized for. But let's get into it. I just want to talk about my opinion about this. And like I said, it's my opinion. So everyone might not agree with it. But basically, he was supposed to host the Oscars and he decided to step down because people wanted an apology because of some old tweets that he had discriminating against gays. I think it was one saying where if his son came home gay, he would make sure he turned them from being gay. I didn't read all of them, but they were homophobic, definitely. And so people said, what's the controversy? Well, basically, he said he wasn't going to, he decided not to apologize again. He said he already apologized for these tweets, but he decided that he wasn't going to keep apologizing. So he decided just to step down from hosting it. Now, people might say, what's the problem? Well, it's not necessarily a problem, but I think, not that I think I know, there's a couple people that have came out and talked about the hypocrisy in this, because I guess Amy Schumer and some other people, this goes on, they had homophobic tweets, and people were saying, well, why weren't they penalized for these tweets and held accountable, but yet Kevin Hart is. And other comedians that have came out with homophobic tweets or said homophobic things, and they're saying, well, why? Oh, I think too, also with Mel Gibson, he said a lot of homophobic stuff, and I think he got an award. Don't quote me on this, but they're trying to figure out, okay, why with Kevin Hart does he have to apologize for allegedly some tweets that he made years ago that he apologized for, and he said, I'm not going to apologize for him again. They're saying, well, there's been other comedians who have said homophobic things or had homophobic tweets, and they were allowed to participate in certain things, and I guess they didn't have to apologize. So I'm just going to sum that up. Okay, so this is my opinion. I'm going to say this again and again and again and again. So everyone gets this, okay? The people that they name, these comedians or these actors or actresses that know, Amy Schumer was one of them, and Mel Gibson, who said homophobic things, and then, they weren't held accountable and blah, blah, blah. What color are they? I'll wait. They are white, right? And while you and I both know no one's better than anybody, we all are equal. We all are beautiful. We all are smart. We're all on the same level. It doesn't matter. We're all the human species. We're different types of humans, but we're all human, right? But the bottom line is we live in an unfair world, and they discriminate against black people, and they discriminate against people who are gay. They discriminate against lesbians. This world discriminates against anybody who's different from them. Okay, am I correct? So because of this, if they feel you are different than them, they have a problem with you, what they're going to do is when you do something bad, they're going to hold you more accountable than a person that they like that does something bad. Follow me? So we have noticed several times when a black person does something inappropriate, they are held to the fire longer, they are ridiculed longer, and they're made to bow down longer. And when someone of another race does it, sometimes it's swept on the rug, sometimes they get a pat on the back, sometimes they don't. It seems like it just depends on how they feel. Okay, so this is my thing though. Let's take it back to Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart is kind of arrogant, and I think he could have apologized again. Now I know that you're going to say, well, the other people didn't have to. Okay, once again, he has to. I think he's forgetting who he is, where he's at, and what situations he's under. You're a black male in America. You're a comedian. Okay. In a sense, the powers that be have allowed you to get to where you're at, because they can easily find someone else that's black that's funnier than you to take your place. Okay. Now, you tweeted something that still was wrong. This is not something make-believe. This is not something that someone put on his Twitter and framed him. I guess he admitted to saying those things. Now, when he allegedly apologized, I don't believe his apology, because he never removed the tweets, I'm assuming. I don't think he removed the tweets. From what I was told, he didn't remove them. And then after this happened, or after they asked him to apologize again before the Oscars, he then removed them. But when this first happened, I think he tweeted in 2011, they were still able to go back into his tweets and find the tweets because he never removed them. So Kevin Hart, if you allegedly apologized for this, because he said he wasn't going to apologize again because he apologized already. Okay, so that made people assume that he was sorry about it. But that tells me that he wasn't really sorry, that he just apologized at the time, if he did, just for the hell of it. And what proves that he really wasn't sorry for what he says, because he did not remove the tweets. When you're really sorry for something and you like, oh man, I messed up, you apologize and you remove the injury, however you want to say it. So he did not remove the knife that he put in. To me, those tweets is like putting a knife in somebody's back. Okay, so he did not remove them. So that lets me know right now there he wasn't sorry. So the fact that I know he wasn't sorry, in my opinion, that tells me that's why he did not re-apologize. Because see, when you're not really sorry about something, you're not going to keep apologizing for it. You might apologize once or twice just so people could leave you alone, but you're not going to keep doing it because you're not sorry. And then to prove he wasn't sorry, he didn't remove the tweets. Okay, so this is how I view this. For the people that's out here saying, gay people or lesbians or whatever, people who are homosexuals, they're sensitive, they're this and that. Okay, if there was a white person, this is to black people, that made a tweet saying, if my daughter brought home a white guy, I'll hit her over the head, or if my son brought home a black woman, that's not that right. If my son, if this was a white comedian making a tweet, a joke saying, if my son brings home a black woman, I tell him to get that nappy-headed monkey out of my house. Or if my daughter brings home a white guy, or if my daughter brings home a black guy, I tell her to get that no working child support payment having nappy-headed black bastard out of my house. If I'm saying that right, okay. How would you feel? And then what if people say, you're being racist, and then this white comedian says, I'm sorry, but leave the tweets up. And then years later, people say, well, no, we don't think you should be able to host the Oscars because you offended a whole class and category of people, and you need to apologize because you were being disgusting. And he says, well, I apologize to black people, and I'm not going to keep doing it. And then he left the tweets up. That show, and then, he only removed the tweets after he moved, decided not to host the Oscars, but he still kept them up all those years. After he kept up the tweets after he apologized. How would you feel, black people? You would feel this person was racist, probably, right? So this is the thing about free speech. We have free speech. We can make YouTube videos. We can post on Twitter. We can post on Facebook, and we can say whatever we want. But how can I say this? Okay. You have to be mindful of what you say, and people might say, well, I want to express my opinion. You can express your opinion and say, oh, I don't like the cold weather outside. Oh, I don't like the summertime. It's too hot. Oh, I don't like the color red, or I don't like the color purple. But when you start talk about you don't want to have a gay child, or you don't like gays, or you don't like blacks, or you don't like whites, or you don't like Asians, you're discriminating against people for who they are. And usually when a person comes out and say they don't like blacks, whites, gays, they're usually not the class of people they're discriminating against. Okay, so that's saying that you have a prejudice against somebody because they're different than you, and that is a problem. And now you're trying to vocalize it and beat people over the head with it, almost to get people on board. Nobody cares if you don't like gays. Nobody cares if you don't like blacks. Nobody cares if you don't like whites. Nobody cares if you don't like Asians. No one cares, so just keep the shit to yourself, because you're basically spewing out hate, and then you want someone to you're going to get a response. All right, what is the purpose of a person saying they dislike a certain class? Now, people might say my videos, I say off the wall things and all that. Well, I'm not a famous comedian that's trying to host the Oscars either. And if I was a famous comedian trying to host the Oscars, and I did say a tweet that offended anybody, and it really was a tweet that was discriminating against a class of people, I would remove and I would apologize, because I would really feel bad about it. But I would never tweet something like that. We as human beings always have a problem with things that are different than us. And so for the people who feel it's nothing wrong with being homophobic, I'm gonna put to you in this example. Would you like it if people didn't like heterosexual people? or straight people? Would you like it if being straight or heterosexual was you were looked down upon, talked about? Because let's be honest, heterosexual people, there's some gay people that don't like you. I'm pretty sure gay people think a man and a woman, a man sticking his thing in a vagina and all that and sucking on breasts, maybe they think that's disgusting. Lesbians might think that's disgusting. So it's easy for us to dislike something that's different in us, and that's the problem with most humans. Anything that's different, that looks different, that acts different, that has a different perspective than us, we want to discriminate against instead of trying to understand. Okay, and he was wrong. Now, he was wrong. He was also wrong for not apologizing. He was wrong for not taking the tweet. He was wrong. Okay, first of all, he was wrong in a couple ways. The first thing, he was wrong for putting that up there. The second thing was he was wrong for, once he was called out on it, not removing it after his so-called apology. And then he was wrong for keeping it up there. And then he was asked to apologize again. He was wrong for not apologizing again. And I think he took the tweets down. Now, my thing with Kevin Hart, okay, you're so-called homophobic, but you wore a dress before and dressed up like a woman. And then if you ended up taking the tweets down anyway, recently, after you said you're not going to host the Oscars, then if you did that, you took the tweets down eventually anyway, why just not apologize? Because he's not sorry. He's homophobic. That's what he's not sorry. If a person's sorry about something, they will first, like I said, remove the knife out of your back. So if it's tweets, they will take the comments away. They will apologize. And if somebody has screenshot the tweets and they brought it up years ago, they would then apologize. So he's not sorry. So that's why he's not hosting the Oscars, because he did not want to apologize, because he's not sorry. Now let's get to the hypocrisy, like I mentioned earlier in this video. Yes, they're being hypocrites. If other comedians said homophobic things and blah blah blah, and they was able to host the Oscars or participate in the Oscars and blah blah blah, and so why are they treating him like that? It's because he's black. Hello. Now, if there's anybody else who was black that said homophobic things or homophobic tweets or whatever, and they still was able to host the Oscars and all that, then disregard what I'm saying now. And they didn't make them apologize, disregard what I'm saying. But from my understanding, I guess this is the first time this has happened or whatever. So where the person was made to apologize again and was told, I guess, if you don't apologize, you can't host it. Okay. So I think it's because he's black. And so people might say that is so wrong. And it was so wrong for him to be homophobic. And it's so wrong for him to be against, I'm not saying he's against gays, but yeah, you are against gays in a sense. If you say you don't want your kids to be gay, and look, maybe he don't, but that's not nothing for him to broadcast, because then you are putting down and belittling people who are gay. No one needs to know that you would prefer for your son not to be gay. No one needed to know that. Okay. And I want to also say that, jumping back into the color thing, I don't feel bad for him, because Chrissy, she has videos. It's a lady named Chrissy. She has videos on YouTube, and her videos is about promoting dark-skinned black women, which I love her channel. And no, I'm not a dark-skinned black woman. I'm caramel-skinned, but I love her channel, and I think her platform is much needed. And she has a magazine, I think it's called Divine Dark Skin. You might want to check her out. But anyway, she made a comment saying, well, is he going to apologize for his tweets about dark-skinned women? And no, he's not, because see, Kevin Hart is the type of person that put it like this. If a person tweets something, that's how they feel. They might change how they feel, but in my opinion, if you tweet something, and even if it was 10 years ago and it's still up there, and you look down your timeline and you see what you posted and you did not remove it, that means that you liked what you put up there, and that you still feel like that. And if you don't feel like that and you forgot about the tweet, if somebody brings it to your attention, you will remove it, right? Think about this. If you tweeted, if you were white and you say, I love the KKK, and you tweeted that 10 years ago, and then you forgot, let's say you forgot about it, and then and let's say you don't feel that way anymore, but then someone goes back in your timeline and see, oh, Josh, are you a racist? You say you love the KKK, and then you see it and you say, oh my God, I don't feel like that anymore. Let me delete that. Let me delete that and apologize. But if someone brings it to your attention and you keep it up there, then that means that you were okay with what you put. Like I said, Kevin Hart, I feel, is arrogant. He's defiant. He feels I'm gonna say what I want to say. I'm funny and go right ahead. But when it comes to disrespecting groups of people, you cannot do that. Because why? People say, well, why he can't say how he feels? Okay, well then let the KKK and other racist white people come out and say how they feel and discriminate against blacks. Hold on, isn't that what they were doing for a very long time? And then stuff had to change, and people had to force them to had to put in affirmative action. They had to force we had to have a civil rights movement. People were allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do and say whatever they want to say and do whatever the hell they want to do against other people, just because a person looked different than them or was different than them in a certain kind of way. But something had to be done. Okay, we had to put a stop to this. Just because someone enjoys the same intercourse with the same gender ain't got nothing to do with you. Okay, now you don't have to want your kids to quote unquote be gay, but you don't also need to broadcast and let people know that. That's something that you got to deal with. You don't need to broadcast that because you're basically making people who are gay feel like something's wrong with them, and nothing's wrong with them. Just like people, I mean, with Kevin Hart, people think that something's wrong with black men just because of the color of your skin. So should you feel like shit for being black because they feel like because they don't like the color of your skin? Is that right though? No. And last thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna take it back to this one thing. Are they being a hypocrite when it came to Amy Schumer and Mel Gibson and their homophobic tweets? But then, yeah, it's because he's black. I keep trying to tell black people, okay? It's like this. When we talk about the justice system and how they say they give a black man more years than a white guy in jail, or a black person period more years than a white person. Okay, if you know that the cards are stacked against you, this is my theory, then not even a theory, this is just common sense to me. If the cards are stacked against you, then why would you even do anything that was criminal or do anything that will put a target on your back? Think about that. If you know if you sell dope, you'll get more years than a white dude that sell dope, then why even sell dope? Now I know different reasons why people sell drugs. I'm not even getting to that. I'm just giving an example, but let's keep things a little bit lighter. This isn't even light because it's still discriminating against a group of people. But with Kevin Hart and his tweets, okay, he might say, well, I had homophobic tweets just like Amy Schumer and Mel Gibson. Are you a white woman? Are you a white male or Jewish male? Whatever the hell he is, a white male. Are you a white male and a white woman? No, you're not Kevin Hart. Don't forget where you're at. You're not in Africa. You're in America, where they have discriminated against black people for a very long time. They still discriminate against us. Don't forget where you're at. Don't forget who you are just because you have money. Don't think just because you have money and put you in all these movies. They put you in them, they could take you excuse my language, take you the fuck out of them. Okay? Kevin Hart's not sorry for those homophobic tweets, nor is he sorry about talking about dark-skinned black women. So in my opinion, fuck him. He steps on dark-skinned black women, or black women period, and he steps on gays and lesbians, but mainly gays. Cause see, with a lot of these a lot of these men, they don't have a problem with lesbian women because they want to have threesomes with them. They have a problem with gay men. And see, I'm gonna do a video about this. This is nothing that really pisses me off. Why they don't have a problem with lesbians, but they got a problem with gay men? They're okay with lesbians because they can, in their mind, if she's bi, he could partake in it. But when it comes to gay men, they want to talk about how bad it is doing that. But two women kissing and screwing, that's cool, but two men doing is bad. No, I'm not trying to hear that. That's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. I don't feel bad that he stepped down. Oh well. And I'm kind of glad this happened to him because it shows him that he's not untouchable, and it showed him that they were being a hypocrite. So what? So fucking what? You shouldn't have been talking about gay people. If you don't want a gay son, keep that to yourself. You discriminate against a whole group of people because of who they love. None of your damn business. Number two, this was a learning experience for him that he did not learn because he's being arrogant. But just how he discriminates against and has a problem with gay men, it's the same way that they are not. How can I say this? They're being fair with him in one hand because he should apologize, but they're being unfair with that. The rules don't apply to everybody, if you get my drift. So the rules only apply to him because of his color of his skin. He has to apologize for something that he did that was disgusting, but the other people who did it don't have to, or didn't have to participate in the Oscars or whatever, who also had homophobic tweets, you see. And so it's coming full circle where he gets to see how it feels to be targeted just because you are different than somebody else. So the Mel Gibson and Amy Schumer, they're white. Okay, so they're held to a different standard than Kevin Hart. See, Kevin Hart is black, so they're gonna hold him to a higher standard. He can't make any mistakes, and if he does, he needs to apologize and bow down. They're not gonna have to apologize and bow down as much because the people that are in control look like them. So now he gets to see how it feels to be discriminated against and and how he does with gay men, discriminated against and being ridiculed and targeted, all because you're different than someone else. So he's not hosting the Oscars. Oh well, maybe he got his Negro wake up call. They were being hypocrites against him. Oh well, I just explained why. And this might have to keep happening to him because he's very arrogant. He should just went on and apologized, but he wasn't sorry. That's why he didn't apologize. And that's all I have to say about it. I never liked him anyway, and I'm not being biased in my opinion. If you listen, I hit every point, and I don't feel bad for him. So have a nice night.